The sons of Korah open Psalm 85 with a look backward. Israel stands somewhere between judgment and restoration, and before asking for anything new, they remember what God has already done. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Psalm 85, verse 1. The psalm opens with settled fact, not uncertain hope. God has shown favor. God has reversed captivity. The word behind brought back carries the sense of turning something around, not a partial rescue, but a full reversal of fortune. This verse likely reflects Israel's return from Babylonian exile, when God did what he promised through Jeremiah and Isaiah. This ordering matters. Prayer built on remembered grace stands on firmer ground than prayer built on present feeling. The exile was real. The devastation was real. And yet God turned it. Believers today face their own exiles, seasons where circumstances seem to prove God distant. And this verse insists on naming his past favor before naming present need. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sin. Selah. Psalm 85, verse 2. The psalmist moves from national restoration to the deeper issue with it, the people's sins. Exile did not happen because of bad luck or geopolitics alone. It happened because of iniquity, and return from exile required more than a political decision. It required forgiveness. The word covered points backward to the Day of Atonement and forward to the finished work of Christ, who does not overlook sin, but atones for it. Paul makes this connection explicit in Romans 4, verse 7, quoting this very language when explaining the blessedness of those whose sins are forgiven and covered. The psalmist links these two realities, the return from captivity and the forgiveness of iniquity. God does not fix an outward circumstance while leaving the root untouched. He forgives and covers. The exile ends because the sin has been dealt with, not because Israel earned its way back. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. Psalm 85, verse 3. This verse completes the picture. God's anger against sin was real, described here as fierceness, a word that does not soften the severity of divine judgment. The exile itself proved this wrath was no empty threat, yet the psalmist declares, this wrath has been taken away, not diminished or managed, but removed. God turned himself from his anger, an act of sovereign will, rather than a change forced by outside pressure. The threefold declaration in verses 1 through 3, favor shown, sin forgiven, and wrath removed. This forms the theological foundation for everything that follows in the psalm. The sons of Korah will petition, asking God to revive his people again, but they refuse to ask from a position of doubt about God's character. They ask from the platform of what he has already proven true. Believers who feel under discipline or distant from God's felt nearness can stand on this same ground. The God who forgave, covered sin, and turned away wrath once has not changed. His track record becomes the basis for present confidence, not a distant memory disconnected from today's needs.